Tansy is modeling the new toilet. She likes it. She must like the cover that's really slick. She was pawing at it earlier, so maybe she wants to use it now instead of her cat box. Hi everyone, this is Tigner Adventures, and if you're a subscriber to our channel, welcome back. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. My name is David, my wife Ninette, and our little cat Tansy. We live in our motorhome full-time and we travel all over everywhere. And life is an adventure, and that's what this channel is all about. And today we're going to be replacing our toilet. That's actually worked fairly decent. I actually did a repair on it not too long ago, and it didn't leak anymore. But I happened to get a really good deal on a new toilet, the new style. You can see here it's a Dometic 310, and so I'm going to replace my Sealant 310 toilet with this. And I'm going to kind of point out the difference as far as, you know, if it starts leaking, how easy it is to replace the seal compared to our old one. If you have the old style 310 or 300 series of a toilet that uses the big gasket, refer back in my comments. I have a video listed there that tells you how to replace that and do it for free, or you can pay to have the gasket. But the gasket itself is 60 bucks. This new toilet, the gasket's about $50, and it doesn't have the same type of issues that the old style toilet did. So here is the box, and so we're going to go ahead and open this up, pull the toilet out. Here it is. The difference between this toilet and the one I've got now is the plunger, or the step, is on this side, which is on the right side. My old one is on the left side. So that's going to take a little bit of modification. Also, look at this toilet, if I can show you here. Turn it around a little bit. The places that you screw it to the floor, there's one on each side, kind of like your house toilet. Same general idea. My old toilet, that's not how it works, and so I'll show you what we're going to have to do to fix that. So that's what this video is about. We're going to install this toilet. So let's get started. So the new toilet, we've set them side by side. You can see the new toilet is about 4 inches higher than the old toilet. Now this toilet happens to have a screw right here that holds this shroud on. So just going to pull that out and around, and that exposes the base of the toilet. We want to actually measure this and see where the center of our toilet is. And if you look here in the new toilet instructions, we have to be, the center is to 10 inches to the center. So in this case we're 11 inches, so that's good. It actually, we have a little bit of room here in the back, so we should have that, a little bit of room when we're done. So that's the important part, is to make sure it fits before you tear everything apart and find out that it really won't work. So this base, if you notice, has 2 bolts there to the floor, and then if we, I don't know if we can get around here to the side, but there's another 2 bolts over on this side. And if we look at the toilet here that we're replacing it with, we have 1 bolt on this side and we have 1 bolt on this side. So we're going to have to do a little bit of change here, because we're going from a 4-bolt system to a 2-bolt system. So this is my old valve. I've pulled it out of the back of the toilet, and you'll notice that I've got a white hose here that's going around up here to this sprayer. So this particular unit, I won't be able to swap those with the new toilet, but I'm going to go ahead and hold on to that in case I can use that sprayer later or something somewhere else, I guess. So here's a close-up of the back of the toilet. I've got my valve here, so I'm going to turn this off, before I do too much. But the water line comes in here and it screws into the back of the toilet right here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to undo this. And it's not on there very tight, they're just hand tied on there. So I'll take this off, and then I'm going to pull the pedestal off, and I'm going to look at that pedestal to see if I can put the new one into its place. The pedestal is just 7/16, so I'm just going to undo those. They're pretty easy to take off also. So we'll undo the 4 bolts, and then we'll lift this off. So we'll finish the last one here, and then I'm going to lift this up. So that is what I'm left with at this point. Here is the bottom of the toilet, and you'll notice it's got this little sponge seal here that goes around this bottom ring of the actual toilet, and this bottom ring fits into this hole. And so since it sits on the inside of that hole, and then the rubber sits around the outside of the hole, then we don't have, you know, there shouldn't be any reason that this should leak, because the water's never going to build up to this level anyway. You should be dumping your tanks way before then, so that should work really good. So all we have to do is figure out how to bolt it to the floor. We're going to have to drill a couple holes and bolt these down into the plastic and into the wood floor where the toilet sits normally. So we're going to set the toilet on here, and then I'm going to mark those 2 spots, and then we'll drill the holes down, and that will allow us to mount those 2 bolts in there. So I got a glob of fingernail polish on the end of this. I'm just going to kind of sit it in there. Hope I can get some of that to mark where I need to drill this hole. Okay. Perfect. All right, there it is. Drill the hole and get the screw in there. Felt like it had a little bit of grout right where that hole was. So screw that in right there. Probably about right there. Ooh, make sure you don't drop it in there. That's not good. So we're gonna have to go down at least another 1/4 inch here. So my screws are mounted, and I dry fit them so they're working perfectly. Now I'm going to put some of this silicone grease around the outside here where that rubber gasket's going to fit, and just to kind of give it a good little seal right here. All I did was use CLR to clean this off. All it is just a mineral buildup over the years, depending on where you're getting your water and stuff like that. So, all right, so I've just got the toilet sitting on there right now where it's going to go. You can see where my water line valve is even with the back of the toilet, so I'm going to have to cut that off. I'm going to 90 degree, and I'm going to bring it over to the other side of the toilet, because the old toilet, it was on the opposite side, so I need to kind of rearrange this piece of it. So to do this job, I've got a bunch of PEX fittings, and I've got some crimpers, I've got a cutter, I'm going to cut this water line right here and put a 90 in it, bring it over 90 back this way, 90 up to the toilet and in. So I'm going to reuse at least this piece of it. I'm going to try to reuse this. So I'll cut this little band off, and then I'll because I'm going to have to cut this little piece out of here because I want to reuse this this on-off valve too. So anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and cut those out, and then we'll see what we can do to get those all connected back up. So I'm just using a cutting wheel here on my grinder. These are just copper, so they're really easy to cut. Once it's loose, it just comes off, and all that is just a fitting on there that just squeezes that PEX around to seal it. So now that one's ready to go. I can reuse that one. Alright, so I cut that one piece off, and I've put the elbow back in. I've crimped that on. I've put the on-off in there. Now what I'm going to do is actually set the toilet where it's going to go so I can kind of measure the water line. So this one's going to go on here. And these elbows are a little different sizes, so I had to, going from the gray PEX that came with the motorhome, which is 25 years old. They don't sell that kind anymore. It's not good, and so I have to switch. And so it was easier to put the old elbow back into the gray stuff, and it takes a little bit to get the white PEX over this, but it still works. So I'm going to come from here now. An elbow here, and then elbow up. Okay, so we have dry fit the parts to go back in there. Everything looks good, so I'm going to go ahead and put the clamps on there, bolt down the toilet, and we should be finished. This is the only issue with when you're trying to put in new stuff. Remember, this was 4 inches higher, so now watch. If I go to open this door, it hits the toilet. So I can't get into the shower. So I'm going to try to turn it and see if that'll make a difference. Okay, I think I figured out something, and the wife says it's okay. So we're going to just turn the toilet. So it's going to be a little different there. Won't be flat with the back wall, but it does miss the shower door, and it just kind of sits here sideways. So when the towels are up there, nobody's ever really going to notice any difference. And all I had to do is I had to modify the water line just a little bit. Just kind of cut it back a little bit so that it would fit at a different angle. So that works good there. I also swapped out the one that came with the toilet, the valve, so I could still use my sprayer. We decided we wanted to keep the sprayer. And you can see now with the towels hanging there, and the toilet is mounted a little sideways now, that can't really notice anything. It works pretty good. And if I do open the door, and it does pass the toilet just fine. Okay, we're all done. We had to, of course, make that last little change to make that actually work for us, but it's workable. And something that you kind of run into when you are, retrofitting something. A lot of times when they say, this is exact replacement, sometimes it's not always exact, and there are little things that you have to do to make things work. So I think we, lucked out. We were able to circumvent the issue a little bit by just rotating the toilet just a little bit and re-drilling the hose holes for the posts and remounting the toilet. So, and then we went ahead and added that extra, sprayer We do like that sprayer. It may take a little bit more water, but it's a lot nicer to keep the toilet cleaner. So we do like that, so I went ahead and put that back in. And what I had to do with my old valve, because it was such a long stem, is I actually just trimmed it down a little bit and put it in there. And as you can see from the previous little video of what it looks like with the towels there, it's really not very noticeable. So anyway, that does it for this video. I hope that this is of something of value to you, because changing out this toilet was actually pretty easy. We went from a Sealant 310 to a Dometic 310 toilet, and you know, Sealant's not around anymore. Dometic bought them, and so Dometic's kind of changed things around a little bit. The Sealant 310, you know, that was a real pain. As you if you watched my other video on how to fix a leaking toilet, it was a real pain to have to tear everything apart every time that little rubber gasket would start leaking. On this toilet, all you do is you just reach inside the bowl, grab the gasket and pull it out and just put another one in, or clean it and put it back in, whatever, you know. So life's a lot easier with it, and so we looking forward to that down the road as we go along. So it really does kind of depend on where you're at for a while, and what the water the content of what's in the water and things like that as to how often you may have that kind of issue. But the toilet is a success, and this install is a success. It all works great, and there are no leaks, and that's always a plus. So with that said, that ends this video. So please comment, let us know if there's some things that you would like us to do other than these types of videos. If this is value to you, tell us, let us know, give us a thumbs up. Okay, and we'll just see you down the road, and hopefully it'll be on our next video.